We've heard the term dysmorphia before, but there is a money dysmorphia, a distorted perception of one's financial situation.
Right.
Okay.
I got a touch of this one.
Another one is money avoidance or financial denial.
I got this one a little too.
Really?
I'm struggling over here.
The third one I want to bring up is compulsive spending, general desire when it comes in, it goes out. Okay.
Thankfully, I don't have this one.
Well, woo. Welcome into Mindset. My name is Brad Barrett, and as always with me, producer Jared and the lovely Kira. Today we're gonna have a good one. We're gonna talk about, do you have a money disorder? It's real.
I probably have.
We all do. So we're gonna talk about common types of disorders. We're gonna talk about the signs and symptoms that you can look for these disorders. And then we're also gonna talk about how to address a lot of these money disorders. And just know, as like a lot of the topics that we talk about, these are really to make sure that we're a part of a community. Because I think a lot of times we silo ourselves thinking, oh, this is just me, or I'm doing this wrong. And when we bring that context into our money, it doesn't go so well.
It's also like there shouldn't be, I think we have a stigma about having a disorder.
Correct. We all got something.
We all got something. We all get issues. Like it
makes you beautiful.
Right.
Well,
don't be ashamed. Like, let's talk about it. Your flaws are what make you who you are.
Makes you who you are. So we're going to talk about all that today. Before we start on this, though, it's important to understand when we say the word disorder, it's not supposed to be anything around. It's a medical term, right? You can call it dysmorphia. Any things that makes you look differently on something that's coming from something else. That's my vernacular on how I look at it. But
very layman's definition.
Very layman's definition, okay? But money disorders, as we talk about them, can be self-destructive, especially for financial behaviors, right? And these things, what happens here when we're going to talk about them is they cause other stuff to go on, stuff that you may already have from just general life and being a human here. Stress, anxiety, depression, all things that are very real.
A lot of stuff can kind of get in your way, and we just might think it's regular behavior, but it's actually something we can fix and be more healthy with our money.
We can. So we're going to talk about that. But as always, I think we want to throw some stats out. I think Kira pulled some stats here that I think are pretty interesting for us. Again, to reiterate that we're not alone on this.
Can't wait. Sounds exciting.
Let's do it.
A 2025 Bankrate survey found that over 2 in 5 Americans, or 43% of U.S. adults, experience money-related anxiety and stress that affects their mental health.
That's a lot.
I would say
that's a lot.
And I wonder, it doesn't say if this is like on a daily basis or temporary, but I would say I'm in that.
Look, I will not sit here and lie to anybody, say that when Veronica and I talk about money in our own personal lives or just me in general, what we do, like I for sure fall into that. I'm actually surprised, as much as that's a lot, I'm surprised it's not more.
Yeah, it would seem that 43% is more about like on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Because if you're
pretty
talking
consistent
like
basis, yeah.
temporary things that pop up and down, I mean, that's 100%.
It's got to be 100%.
Yeah.
There's one other stat in here that I found interesting that Kira and I were talking about pre-production, and we have to bring it up, and I wanted to ask you about this because there is males versus females. 51% of women said money has a negative effect on their mental health compared to 42% of men. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, I think because Dylan's like the main provider in our family.
Yeah.
And so I think there's more stress, like, oh, if something happened to his job or something like that, like,
right,
I can't pull the weight for us. But I would say, like, on a day-to-day basis, I think he struggles more with the stress and all of that compared to me. So, but I think like every situation's a little bit different, you know?
Agreed. This stat, I put this in there because this is a little bit of a misnomer in a way. I think we men tend to think like, well, money stress, we have the money stress stuff. You might have other stuff, but we have the money stress stuff.
Right.
Mind you, to be clear, this isn't like a huge disparity here. 51 and 42 isn't a massive disparity. So it's not like, it's like 70% and 30% or something like that.
Well, I'd be curious,
but
because our society is growing a little less, or growing a little bit away from that traditional gender roles.
Yes.
And I would wonder if you took this survey in the 50s or 60s,
it would have probably been way different.
Is that number way different? Because I'll be honest, if I had to rely on somebody else, it's something that was not in your control.
It's a new stress.
It's sometimes harder to deal when it's not in your control.
100%. And I think that's we're discounting when I say that stat. They're like, there's no way. As men, we're like, there's no way. I mean, that's right. And I think I've seen it. In fact, a lot of the households, married households that I work with, the wife in particular is the one that actually manages the finances and knows most about it.
That's our home.
That's my home too.
Thanks, son.
Yeah.
Doing a
Thanks,
good job.
babe. All right. So let's talk about some common types. This is where we get into the meat of it. Okay. The first one I think is decently simple. We've heard the term dysmorphia before, but there is a money dysmorphia. Okay. It's a distorted perception. So dysmorphia basically means a distorted perception, right? Anyone who's ever worked out or ever owned a mirror will understand body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Right. So
get that one.
Or owned a mirror.
Or owned a mirror once in their life, right? And it's really sad because God made you perfect, yet the world tells us that there's something wrong with us, and we like seek for that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing here, okay? A distorted perception, that's all it is. A distorted perception of one's financial situation where individuals may feel they have more or less money, right, than they do, leading to things like overspending or excessive saving. Again, you got like the massive spenders and then the hoarders,
Right.
okay?
I got to touch this one.
You do?
Yeah.
Which side are you on with that?
Even when I am flush with cash, I'm like, oh no, I got to save it. I got to save it.
Yeah.
I don't know what that comes from. I honestly don't. But I always have this feeling of like I'm behind. And I mean, sometimes I actually am. But even when I'm up and just like the coffers are full, I feel like.
A lot of times my experience has been when I've asked clients and I've gone through discovery with them and kind of go through like what their background is. A lot of that's upbringing. I have a lot of this, but mine I know is pinpointing because I've worked very hard on this over years, which very much came when I was 16 years old. My dad, basically, this company went bankrupt, which I've shared that story before.
Right.
So having that in my background, he was flush, if you will, or we were doing fine, right? We were the typical middle class family, and then this happens. It just reminds you that you might think you have everything in control, but you don't. And I also should say something about this one too, is money should not be the identifier or the indicator that makes you feel like you've done it.
Right.
That's something that needs to be talked about here. We're talking about money dysmorphias, right? But like money should not be your identity. Just because you have money, you paid off debt, doesn't all of a sudden make you a superhuman. You can still be an a-hole.
Right.
Facts.
So like, you know what I mean? Like you got to kind of just check yourself a little bit. Like money, and we have this, like we align ourselves with money just so much. And I tell clients all that's why I love talking about this and doing this show is because I want to like debunk this taboo subject matter. Like just because we're flush and you feel like I'm the same way. Like I've been in those periods of my life where I'm like, I still don't feel like I have enough, or I feel like I need to save more or invest more. And that just comes from a fear. Fear can be good. Certain fear.
It can be a valuable tool.
God gave us that emotion for protection.
A fear of sharks is good.
Don't walk in a dark alley in a major city at 2 a.m. in the morning, maybe. Like there's general like
wisdom.
You know what I mean? Like, there's wisdom, discernment, right? So money dysmorphia is one. Another one is money avoidance or financial denial. Avoidance is pretty simple, right? We're basically avoiding all money-related issues due to fear or stress.
Is this kind of like head in the sand? You just don't want to hear about it at all.
Bingo. Well said. And I actually see this one, I put this in number 2. I see this isn't really in a ranking per se, but I see this one actually a lot.
Really?
I do.
I got this one a little too.
It's kind of like.
Really?
I'm struggling over here.
But hold on. No.
Jeez.
You have a lot
Interesting
of
enough, we're going to
already.
use you as patient 0 here. So here's what happens, right? 1 and 2 are somewhat linked. So think about this, for example, right? And you can see where I'm going with this, right?
I can see that.
You have the fear side of when you are. Let's take the peaks. You're doing okay. You got some debt. You got some money in the bank now. But subconsciously, you still have this like innate nature in you that says you got to save more. You tend to drift into money avoidance and denial because by not thinking about it, therefore you can lower the feelings you have that are consistently running of just like feeling stress of trying to save more.
100%. And Amy gets on me all the time because there'll be seasons when we're struggling or something, and I'll be like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to sit in that depression and that feel. I just want to be like, I'm having a good day. Let's not talk about money.
Yep.
And that's it's not a healthy way to go about it.
Does that come up like day to day, like when you guys like do bills and stuff like that too?
No. I maybe she's got a different opinion of that. It comes up more like when we're talking about big ticket issues,
right?
And like some like retirement issues.
Yeah.
And there's been times where like I've been out of work for a season, and we may have actually had enough, and the Lord's provided in those times immensely. But in my mind, I'm like, no, we're behind. And should we want to talk about bills? I'm like, let's talk about something else. Let's just watch this show.
I mean, it's classic dysmorphia going into avoidance.
Yeah.
And by the way,
I feel that.
By having disorders doesn't mean that you're going to get rid of these completely. There is some healthy aspects to these things, right? But it's how it runs your life is what we're really talking about. How it dictates what your next steps are.
Right.
Right.
How to manage it.
How's our younger generation checking in on these?
Ooh, okay. Well, I've always been like a hoarder with money.
Yeah.
But
no, you shared that before.
Yeah. I'm a saver through and through.
Good.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, trust me, I've been asked this before. If you were to pick one of the two, it's an obvious statement for a financial fiduciary advisor. Like, yeah, generally speaking, I'd rather you in that camp.
Oh, I'm leaning toward the hoarder all day long. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah. But I don't feel like I'm really like avoidant. Like I don't really have like avoidance or denial about it. Like I enjoy talking about money with Dylan. Yeah. I don't know. I think like for him, he struggles to like, we're both savers actually, which is great. But he'll struggle to like spend money from our savings when we need to. Like we need to buy a car. He's like, I don't want to.
That's where, so I was just going to say.
Me all day long.
That's the line where being a saver, and the term hoarder is a derogatory, but like the saver, hoarder, whatever you want to call it. That's where the line gets drawn where it's hard to turn it on and off.
Yeah.
Because there are things where it's like, no, the car's breaking down. I'm literally, it's in the shop all the time. As an example, we do need a new car. I'm not saying go buy a Rolls Royce. I'm just, you know what I mean?
Right.
Look, end of the day, I would say a lot of these start with dysmorphia. And if you don't have identity wrapped up in it, then you likely will have less effects of some of these, which is good. The third one I want to bring up is compulsive spending. Now, I also put a slash on this one, money worship.
Ooh.
That's going to hit home for some people here. Okay. Look, compulsive spending is pretty simple to understand, right? Yeah. It's an excessive need to spend money, like the general desire when it comes in, it goes out. Okay.
Thankfully, I don't have this one.
Well, so, it's often to feel better or to conform. This is the other thing too. This is where it's okay to like have some relief and get something. That's fine. You earned it. Nothing wrong with that.
Right. But treat yourself,
right? That's okay. We've talked about that before. I'm not against that. But at the point, this is like an art, not a science. At the point you start to conform to a perceived social standard is where it becomes, we'll call it excessive or just not needed.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't mean to be whatever, but I've long discussed this and called it the Kardashian effect. Oh. Like I used to do junior achievement for kids at local high schools, and I talk about it. I would go talk to seniors, and all of them just acted like they were just already rich or something, like as if money wasn't a thing. And I was like, what is going on? Like, what, And it was like they see these things on television, they just feel like it's normal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not normal. I mean, it can be, sure, if that's something you desire, but it tricks the brain to thinking like, says, if I don't have that, then I'm doing something wrong.
For sure.
You see a lot of this, especially I think in Southern California.
Yes.
The thousandaire that driving a Beamer, gold chain, whatever, nice clothes. You work at McDonald's and you live with your parents.
Yep.
And nothing wrong with McDonald's, great career. But when you look like you're a millionaire, but you make $200 a week, you're spending that money on the outward appearance, not what actually matters and what can help you improve.
If that's you, this is not meant to be a hot call out, but just know nobody cares that much.
For sure.
I will always say this, and you've heard this statement before, but no one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And human interaction, those kind of things go a long, long way. Okay. This one's an interesting one. We're getting to two final ones that I want to bring up. Chrometophobia.
Never heard of it.
Chrometophobia. Okay. So this is an actual phobia characterized by an intense fear or anxiety associated with spending money, specifically spending money.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the opposite of the compulsive spending.
Correct. This is an actual like pure fear and anxiety. And I've had one or two clients in my history that have I've talked to them, and through discovery, I realized that this isn't just a general spender not wanting to deplete their savings.
Right.
This is an actual I've seen crocodile tears at one point. There was actual they were trying to do it and they literally couldn't.
These people that starve to death.
Yes.
With $1 million in the bank.
And it is real. And people, all of us on the outside, we be careful how we judge things in general, right? Unless you walk with someone's shoes, don't judge.
Yeah.
And just know if you're having those things, all of a sudden you start seeing things build up and you can't do it. Find somebody to talk to, a good advisor, a really good one who does care, should be able to sit with you and walk you through it. It's not we don't have a magic pill to fix it, but there are some things to, work through to get that, taken care of.
But these, and I'll add this, I think that's a great advice, but I'll add to it. And some of these, it's kind of a spectrum, but something like this one or the compulsive spending, you may need to actually take that further and see a therapist.
Correct.
Get actually psychological help, because that's it gets into the wiring of your brain.
An advisor will help you with the money side of things, but there is other things going on here to drive out.
Right.
So the last one I want to bring up is money enmeshment. So this is actually, enmeshment's a weird word, but it's actually interdependence, or we know this as like codependency. You've heard these terms before?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So here's how it works in the money world. It's an unhealthy interdependence on money in relationships in particular. Okay. This typically involves financial enabling or like dependence. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen this with people with families, whether it's children or parents or spouses or things like that. A very unhealthy situation when it comes to that exchange.
Correct.
Of money.
This is also what we know as the trust fund baby. It's almost like I always tell people, because people want to throw sticks at that, and I'm like, you have to understand, they were typically raised with a silver spoon. They don't know any different. And I don't mean this to sound crass, but like the parents almost like cut the kid's legs out because he or she's never had to like do anything on their own, so they don't know any different. So this enmeshment, this interdependence comes along with it, and it's like it's a disassociated version of work and things like that. They might have all these tools capable of them, but they've never been able to use them because they didn't need to.
Which is why you get such extreme reactions.
Yes.
There's a guy, I don't know if you saw the story a few years ago, trust fund baby, the father was like, you're done. Like straight cut it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And he killed his parents over it.
Yeah. It's no different than someone going down a path of addiction, and you have to wean off those things. Okay. You can't cut it cold turkey. A lot of times it can be very dangerous and life-threatening. And the psychological disorders, when you get into those kind of things, it becomes really scary. Right. And yes, there's obviously wrong in that, no doubt, but like it's really hard to understand that. And this is real. So I mean, with this one, I wanted to bring it up simply to say, like, this might be someone out there and going through it. And by the way, not just the trust fund baby thing, that's its own thing, right? But just the general dependency. Like if you're in a relationship where you find yourself like money is the thing that's driving the relationship. Yeah. This happens a lot, especially in Southern California. Let's be fair. Yeah. Probably not a great thing. Okay. Because there's no real substance there.
If your partner or spouse is going to leave
based on
money,
you have a money enmeshment problem. You have an interdependence problem.
It's the foundation of your relationship.
Yeah, that might not be the healthiest.
Might not be great. So those are some of the disorders, if you will. Again, not as like a derogatory term, but that I think we all should be aware of.
And the most common, I think there are a number of more, but I think these are the 5 kind of.
And there's other ones that fall underneath those camps as well, to be fair too. All right. So how do we address these?
That's the key part.
It's the key part here. Okay. Obviously, this first one I'm going to bring up is going to start with me wanting to make sure that as a financial advisor, I address a lot of these. And during discovery meetings, when we meet with a first client, we're going through this kind of, along with other things. But the first one is seeking professional help. Now, professional help can be a financial advisor on the money side of things. For some of the other ones we mentioned, which Jared had a good point on, there's other help that can be here, well as therapy, psychological things going on that might be there too. But consulting a therapist or financial psychologist to address underlying issues.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
It is actually.
A financial psychologist. I mean, this is perfect for this show.
It is.
Someone that can find the root cause, a psychological cause of your financial. I mean, I think that's.
And amazing. A lot of times it's bipartisan, right? It's kind of a financial advisor working with like for me, I've always put myself out there and I tell people this, I'm a huge fan of therapy. I've always have been for many, many years for a lot of traumas, a lot of different things going on. I've seen it work so well if you use it right. That being said, I have clients and really good friends that I know that are therapists. And so when I know someone, if we get open enough in a relationship, working together helps. So it doesn't have to be one in a silo. It can also be kind of a consortium.
Yeah, what do you always say? You're a wealth manager?
A wealth manager, W-E-L-L.
With the wellness.
Yeah, I've shifted and I've done this a long time. But over the past 10 years, as I got more into the psychological side of it and all the things I was seeing, I was really trying to understand why am I, there's a pattern going on.
Yeah.
And the pattern, everyone put money on a pedestal and I remember I'm talking about retirement planning. I'm talking about, debt management, investing. Those are all things we take care of. But there's also this like attachment we have to money and what it does. And so I wanted to almost separate the two. And that's what Born the Radio shows, the book, my show, all that kind of stuff. So another way to address it is to improve financial literacy. Watching Mindset and subscribing here is a great way to do that.
Tell your friends.
If you haven't subscribed, subscribe right now.
Reading books, whatever that might be. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and list a bunch of them, but I mean, like, I think there are some really good ones out there. I've mentioned this before. I'll always say this one. Psychology of Money is one of my favorite. It's got by Morgan Housel, is a great one. But learn about things like budgeting, saving, investing, responsible financial behaviors. It helps you, again, identify, but also like figure out which ones you have and what you need to work on.
Ignorance is not bliss.
Nope, not in this camp. The other thing too is I put this one on there, limit social media.
I think it's so true, to be honest. I think especially with that comparison.
100%.
Like, I really feel like a lot of that is rooted in social media and from social media.
The first two I mentioned of seeking help and understanding financial literacy can cover a lot of the dysmorphias and disorders we talked about. This one in particular, I totally agree with you, goes right to the comparison theories.
This, honestly, this might be more important, not more important.
It's one of the more important ones.
They're gonna be like, I honestly think, and I think this goes to your comparison of just your general things. We see the best of people's lives. If you have 1,000 friends, they're all taking vacations, you're going to look like, man, everybody's on vacation than me. Everyone's got a new car.
Right.
It's very, very psychologically damaging on multiple levels.
It is. And there's studies galore on this too.
Yeah.
So you can do some research and it also flows right into the compulsive spending because it's becoming really easy now to just, oh, that looks good on that person in that lighting. And it's like, bro, that doesn't even, whatever. Like, and you just click it right away.
Feeds the monkey. You're like, I want that. I buy.
So if you have a comparison thing, but you also have an overspending problem, this is just like a convergence there. So limiting social media is huge.
Cut it.
Yeah.
Cut
it out.
Well, Uncle Joey.
It's like those like Labubu things, not to call out Kiki.
She loves those.
But,
all the girls do.
Wait, what's a Labubu?
Okay, they're these stupid little monster things that cost like $100. And nobody,
like limited drops, and it's like the Beanie Baby craze.
People don't actually like them, but it's like a status thing.
It is.
Like a Stanley.
Yes.
All right, a couple more. Build a support system. This one's kind of an obvious one, but sounds a little lame and corny, but it's real, okay?
I don't think it's obvious because a lot of people, even if they think they have a problem, don't want to discuss it.
That's true.
But don't think they have a problem, so they don't discuss it. I think people really, we've talked about this a lot.
That's
people
true.
don't talk about finances.
Yep.
And so this is, I think, a kind of a sleeper.
Well, good. Well, building a support system is huge. I cannot stress this enough. If you are in a silo, if you clicked on this video and like curious about this one, like the best thing you can do for yourself is to talk about it and then go back to number one, seek professional help, right?
Yeah.
The last one, again, kind of dovetails off that one, is seeking support in general. Organizations, like if you have a big debt issue, for example, one of the things I always talk about is the national debt line, right? Is for advice and support with financial, worries, things like that. There are actually a bunch of resources nowadays, believe it or not, that's there. And so I really think it's kind of cool for us to make sure that we are aware of this when we're seeking the support. Like, well, man, where do I even reach out to, right?
There are free financial counseling resources. Just Google some, I think it's a nonprofit financial center. So people could think like, oh, what's a financial psychologist cost? Mm-hmm. Probably you're automatically be like, I can't afford that. Well, there are free resources.
There is good free resources out there, which is good. But again, work local, seek help, limit social media, build a support system. These are all things to help address any of these disorders that you might have.
Yeah. Don't invest in Labubus. Invest in your mental health.
I agree. And last thing, let me just put a bow on this whole thing. Don't go spend money thinking it's going to solve a problem, because that probably pinpoints one of the disorders or dysmorphias you might have, which is overspending.
Unless it's spending money on help.
Correct. Good caveat.
Oh, loophole.
Loophole. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed that today. We did. As always, we're very, very grateful to all of our subscribers. So thank you. If you're not subscribing to our show, we come out with weekly content all the time. You can hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. You can follow us at Mindset with Brad Barrett on a lot of our social media channels. Maybe that's the only one you follow. Maybe just limit the other ones.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends about that too.
Right.
And next week, we're going to be going through...
What is passive income?
Ooh.
And how can I get some?
Get me some of that free money.
That's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
A lot to say about that one.
Lots.
All right, friends. Well, thank you all. Until next week, as always, if you lead with love, it's going to be all right. See you guys.